Okay, still got the valve tick issue on the Suzuki 300 LT300. This is an 87. Took the cam tensioner out of here yesterday, reset it, allowed it to go back in, took it back out. So it's working fully functional. Decompression lever up in here is working functional, so I'm going to drain the oil and put this 10W40 in. It's not motorcycle oil, but it's good for SM, SL, SJ, and according to the owner's manual, these older bikes, that was acceptable. I just want to see if the tick quiets down, changing the oil. And then the next thing will be to take all the plastic back off and pop the head off if that valve tick is still there. So underneath there's a 13/16 or 21 millimeter socket, and then I just I've got this 5-gallon bucket that I just cut, I don't know, 6 inches tall for doing things like this. Fits right under. We'll drain the oil, and then the filter is right down here, and it's 3 10 millimeter, and then I got this Wix replacement filter to put in for a filter, and then we'll run it around for a little bit and see if the tick cleans up. Okay, unintentionally caught some oil on the socket here. You can see a little bit of metal in there, right there by my finger. So I'll probably take the filter out and then cut it and see if in between the paper media, if there's metal filings. There'll always be some in these older bikes. They're 35 years old. It's not like they're brand new. There's wear and tear over the years, but generally overall the oil is quite clean. So I'm wondering if it is going to be in the head, and we're going to end up having to pop that head off. Not the biggest fan of this with the rear brake, but you can make it work just by manipulating the brake. Pop the filter out, make sure you keep track of the screen, and the O-ring on this one happens to be stuck to the bike, so we'll have to grab that quick, like, put it back in there. One of the reasons I do not care for this is how you get mud. Oops. This is how you get mud and dirt into your oil system, having the filter in a bad spot like that. Got some chunks, probably have to clean it up a little. Okay, the filter's fairly self-explanatory. There's a hole in this end, nothing on this end, so the oil must pass through here, come through the paper media. So I put the new filter in down here. See, that's a really bad spot. Okay, so got the little filter cap back on there, got the new filter in. It's not a 120, 120, 120 for 360, so you have to just rotate the cap until the holes match up. The one hole is slightly out, so there is a particular way that filter assembly has to go on there. And then don't forget there's a spring in the cap that kind of just applies pressure, and that's 10 millimeter bolts. So we'll just clean this up a little and get the oil in. Okay, so that's clearly marked 10W40, 1.6 liters. And then even better than the filter, the sight glass for the crankcase is back in there. So I'll probably have to get a light, but I'm pretty sure it should be between the two lines. But essentially there's a clear sight glass with two lines, and you have to maintain the level between it. So I'll turn her on and pull her over and see if the tick's quieted down any. Okay, so you can still hear the tick, but it's considerably less than what it was. So Maybe I'll reset the valves again just to confirm I did do them right. So I gotta take this all apart anyways to take the head off. But it sounds half decent, so I'm gonna drive it around a little, try and get some oil worked up into there and see if it quiets down even more. But it looks like we're probably gonna have to take the head off.